The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at TessaTNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
I'm such a lucky guy, 'cause after all this time, it's like the deeper I go, the deeper I fall.
Good evening, Spaced Out Radio. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas. On a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.9 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, July 1st, Saturday, July 2nd for those of you on the East Coast and beyond. This is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a rockin' week, an awesome day, and an even better evening. I am your host, Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I am live tonight broadcasting from beautiful Bayfield, Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on Spaced Out Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, as well as Deep Talk Radio, which you can find at deeptalkradio.com. Don't forget to head out to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the encounter online dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. Tonight, I have a treat for all you guys and gals out there, but first I want to apologize for last night. We had a snag with the Spreaker app. For some reason, the card didn't want to go through. There was some kind of glitch, and so our app was down. We're back up. We're not back up on the original account, but we are back up and running, and we will have Dan Shaw, Vortex Detective, back on July 14th, and I'm really excited about that and to embark on that quest. But tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we will be talking to and getting to know Tricia Lugo, and she is known as the positive psychic or positive medium. We all have intuition, but at different levels, like the volume button on your Android iPhone. Some of us hear the music faintly, and others hear it loud and clear. Tricia could hear the faint sounds of spirit when she was 8 years old, and she also sensed things at times that she knew were going to happen before they did, either in a dream or a daydream. She learned years later that she was seeing through a third eye. By the time she graduated from college with a BS in marketing, which is a bachelor's degree, and communications, she decided to pursue the field and a career in the nonprofit arena. But she knew that there was more she could do to help people. She realized several years later, through a past life regression led by Dr. Brian Weiss, that it was her life's mission to help people heal. Most people go through life feeling there is a void, empty or unfulfilled, but once you realize your true mission, your life is complete. Tricia, she pursued her certification from Holistic Studies Institution as a psychic medium with the same ambition and dedication as she does with everything else in her life. She knew she wanted to heal people, so she became a certified energy healer. Her passion for people was always led by her need to provide positive reflections. She was over 10 years of experience with reflective listening, a great resource for helping people find their life's missions. She also has several years of experience in the positive reflection method, a valuable resource for helping clients find their purpose. Her life's mission is to help people, and her passion is to deliver the messages from spirit that will guide them along their life and their life path and their journey. Welcome, Tricia. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks so much for reading my bio. Like I said, when I was 8, I lost my grandfather. And once that happened, I felt a deep sense of loss. And during that time, I would hear voices that I thought were him calling me. And that started me on the path of a higher level of intuition. There were dreams I was having, that some of them would come true. I would have an overwhelming sense of something awry, and I would have it come to fruition. And this happened over several years throughout my life, and I just thought maybe it's just intuition. Everybody has it. But I think when I read the book Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss, I was moved by the past life regression. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it's a hypnosis method that people use to go back into their past lives, not the current life that they have, but to go back into their past life to solve chronic issues and problems that they have in their current life. And he was one of the people that discovered it through his own hypnosis that he used on his patients. And I attended his workshop, and during that workshop, you do a mass meditation. And what he has you do is read another person, just through meditation. So you sit in front of the person, you exchange 2 items, and you hold on to that item and you meditate on it. And then you say what you see. There's no editing, there's no, fear. You just are in a good place and you just share what you see. And every time I did it, I was right, which then led me on a path to want to pursue it more. So I started to just listen to my intuition and the higher energy that I was sensing, and just started reading people on the subway, over the phone.
What better place?
Customer service calling. Oh, by the way, do you have a dog? And this continued for quite some time until I probably read about 100 people because I feel like if you really believe in something, if you feel it's your calling, you should do it without any expectations, but the expectation of doing it. And that's when I said, well, I need some help in this area. And so that's when I went to the Holistic Studies Institute, because I wanted to really understand the practice of being a psychic medium. I wanted to understand and develop the gifts I had and be taught by somebody that had over 40 years of experience of doing this, who is also a spiritualist minister. And that was Stephen Robinson, who runs the Holistic Studies Institute. And I call it the Hogwarts of, and for all the Harry Potter people out there, of schools, where you take about 9 months and learn all types of things, from reading auras to psychometry, which is reading of objects, to seances, to every, one Saturday, once a month, a Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. And then you go through a couple of experiences and practices, and then you read people, and then you become certified.
That's
so
awesome.
It was amazing.
And where is
It really
that
was.
again?
The Holistic Studies Institute is in New York City.
Nice.
They also have an office in Albany, and it's run by this amazing man. He's been doing this for 40 years. He was born with these gifts, but he founded the institute along with some other people, if I'm saying this correctly. But he's been there a long time teaching, and he's one of the best psychics in New York. And I learned a lot in his class, and anyone can do this. It's just a matter of opening yourself up, opening up your third eye, which is what people now are aware of, which is the eye in the middle of your forehead. That's the sense of your higher energy and your higher level of connection, and lots of meditation. Because you have to center yourself. You have to really be, it's kind of like free falling. It's kind of like, going to a cliff and just falling freely, and saying, I'm going to be open to whatever I see. I'm going to be open to whatever I experience. And for some people that may be a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Falling
right?
is scary.
Nobody wants to fall.
I used to have recurring nightmares like that. But I do agree with those energy exercises. Like, I had never really tried them. I had done like a couple yoga classes or whatever, and wasn't really digging it. And we had a pre-investigation interview with this lady on a case, and right after that we had our monthly Four Corners Paranormal Investigation meeting, and one of our crew was teaching us energy exercises and how to center and how to, bring energy in up through the earth and out your crown, and back the other way and back and forth. And we did probably like 8 to 10 different exercises, and I can tell you that after the preliminary interview I had this pain behind my shoulder blades, and I was trying everything I could to get it out before the meeting. Nothing was working, but after these exercises, like, that had even alleviated itself. So it was pretty interesting how those work, and once we did so many, there was this certain one, I'll have to look at my papers to see what it was, but when you opened your eyes from it, it was kind of like you were in a new world. Like, the colors were brighter and more vibrant, and it was really interesting and very cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think doing any kind of energy meditation or any kind of meditation opens you up to a lot of things. It heals you in many different ways. If you're sick, if you have a headache, and it also opens up your reception. So you're more aware of what's going on. You're able to sense other people's energies. It just helps in so many ways. It's healthy for you. Deepak Chopra has had studies done on meditation and how powerful it is and how good it is for the body and mind. So I'm a big believer in it, but that is one thing that I always do. I do it probably about twice a day, and it helps to center me as well. So it's great to do.
Yeah, it's very important when you're doing like psychic or even paranormal work Got to keep
Yes.
yourself clear and clear those, I don't know if you want to call them chakras, or there's so many different terms for them. Keep them clear and flowing, and you know, keep your shields up.
Yes, definitely.
So,
Yes.
my first question is, what was your spiritual or religious upbringing?
Well, I was brought up a Quaker, and I know that sounds like a little odd because I always get this joke, oh, it's Quaker oats, you know,
Oh,
do you
that's
eat
very
oatmeal?
interesting.
But I have been open to many different religions. I'm fascinated by Catholic churches whenever I travel within the U.S. or abroad in Europe. I remember clearly going to Costa Rica to a church. It was a healing church. Those fascinate me. So I'm open to many different types of religions, but I feel like I'm more spiritual now. So, yeah.
What I found is, at a young age, with my mom passing and just where we were, I just felt this need to reach out and find some sort of spiritual healing, I guess. But I visited so many different churches, and I don't know. I'm not religious anymore. I grew up Mormon, LDS, and fell away as a teenager because people were accusing me of going to a later ward because of boys or whatever. But it's just
Right.
because I've always been a night owl, so I am a late waker, and if I can go to church later, I will. But,
Right.
you know, they totally piled on me, against me on that. So I quit going, but then when I went into the Marine Corps, there's like every church that you can think of at the, you know, tip of your fingers. You can go wherever you want. So I went to the Catholic Church. I went to so many different churches, and I think I do agree most with the LDS like beliefs and such, but there are different aspects like from Buddhism and the Catholic Church and other realms that I do agree with and I put into my life. But
Right.
I'm not a person that's going to go to church every Sunday. I don't feel like my church is there. And I know it is important for people to have fellowship. But,
Right.
you know, my church is my family. Or, you know, going out and camping in the forest and being close to nature and, you know, doing what I believe is right and what makes me feel good. Yeah, there's just too much drama in organized religion, I feel. So I am more of a
Yes.
spiritual person than I am religious.
Yeah, and I think when you can take the different practices with different religions and use them in a positive way, there's nothing wrong with that. I love the different saints within Catholicism. I love crosses. I have a lot of crosses. But I also can, you know, comprehend Buddhism. I saw the Dalai Lama speak in Central Park years ago. So it's nice to have different religions around. I'm also, because of my background, I have a lot of Hindu gods and goddesses pictures throughout my apartment. So I think it's helpful to me, and I think anything positive that you can bring is always beneficial.
Yeah, I do. I really love the Dalai Lama, and I love his smile, and I love his laughter. It's just so innocent and pure, and it makes me smile and laugh every time. But he does have quite a bit of wisdom, and I haven't been able to see him personally, so I really envy you in that aspect. But I have watched him live on Facebook, and that's one of the reasons I'm thankful for Facebook.
Right.
And he was saying religion is like medicine, and, you know, what works for somebody might not work for somebody else. So you
Right.
really shouldn't judge or criticize other religions, you know, just let them be, and what makes them happy, and you be happy doing you.
Yes.
So yeah,
That's-
he's very awesome and interesting, and I just love him.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He is, for sure. I love that laugh. I have to put it on replay sometimes. So, when did you discover that you had a gift?
Well, like I said, I had sensed things as early as 8, but I think I was really affirmed when I went to the past life regression, because you're reading a stranger, and it's an object. So I can do psychometry, and that's really discovering facts about someone by touching inanimate objects. Those objects would have to be objects that, or it could be jewelry, could be someone's keys, it could be your phone, because your energy that courses through you, it's filled with memories and experiences and connections, and you transfer that to the objects that you have. And so I can pick up on that. And so when I would take the object in my hand, I could actually see through my third eye. It's kind of like having a dream that you're awake, visions of things. And then I would be able to interpret that through communication without knowing what I'm going to say. So whenever I do any kind of messaging through mental medium, which is telepathy, there's 2 types. Like I can actually, and it's not more auditory, it's kind of like telepathically hear something before I'm going to say it, or I'm saying it and I don't know what I'm going to say. And that happens to me a lot when I'm doing the psychometry. I see a vision and I say what I'm going to say. And that's when I really realized that something was really affirmed in me. And it wasn't just one workshop. I was like, oh, I'm great now. I can go read a bunch of people. It was probably about 2 or 3. I did because I really was such a big fan of his. I was like, I have to meet him. And then I went to the Omega Institute and did a weekend-long past life regression. And you do multiple readings. And all went well. I was right in every single one. And then I went to him finally, because I was able to actually see him. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to meet this man, and I'm going to talk to him, and I have a conversation with him. I'm not going to just go and attend, because I do believe in the secret and visioning what you want in your path. And I asked him, what do you think I should do? And he's like, if you feel that that's your life's mission, then you should do it. Because one of the reasons why anybody would go to a past life regression, aside from the fact that maybe they have, like a loved one, like a sibling or a relative where they can't seem to get along and it's a horrible thing, or they have an intense fear of something and they don't know why, or they have a hole inside themselves and they feel empty and they're trying to figure out what their life's mission is. Past life regression is one of the best things that you can do for that, because it's supposed to tap you into your past life. And if you're a believer in it, like I'm a believer, you have many past lives. And those lives are meant for you to learn certain things till you get to the point where you have a true understanding of what your life's mission is. And then once you've accomplished whatever you need to accomplish, the belief is that you no longer continuing living all those lives. You kind of like are in the atmosphere as like maybe a higher spirit, or but that's what really made me understand.
Like maybe a guide or something.
That's right, and that's where I found my life's mission. So 2 things happened to me. I found out I had this gift, and then I found out that that's my life's mission. So it was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's good to have that clarity and, fill the hole or the gap that's in your life.
Right. Yeah. So it was a great experience to know that. And people go to these things and they're just completely moved, just like when people are moved when I give readings. It's the same. It's the same thing. The connection. We're all connected anyway. We're all connected. Our energies are all connected. Energy to spirit connection is like radio waves on the radio. You can't see it, but you can tune in if you have like one of those old radios to waves being sent out into the atmosphere. Connection with spirit is the same difference.
So, like growing up, were your parents understanding and supportive of your gift?
Well, I never really let anybody know.
Oh, even your parents?
No, they didn't know. Like I told you before we got on live, I said, I had my own psychic coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell anyone that I had this, as far as family members were concerned, up till about a year and a half ago. Maybe about 2 years ago.
Well, congratulations on your coming out.
Yeah, I feel so much better. So much freer.
Like there's a weight lifted.
Yeah, there is. There's a total weight lifted. It's not the same as other coming outs, but it definitely frees you to, if I sense something, I can feel freely to call a family member and say it without going, oh, I had a dream, or, I was sitting there and something popped into my head and I thought I should share it with you. It was easier for me to share it with my friends. And I did that years ago. And everybody the few people I did share it with were supportive. Maybe I had one person who was also psychic, but he was psychic in a different way, because psychics and psychic mediums, or psychics and mediums, they all have different types of gifts, and each one is different. We're not all doing the same exact way. So like a Teresa Caputo, who, is known as the Long Island medium, she's a medium. She doesn't say she's a psychic medium. She says she's a medium, which means you rely only on spirit to give the messages that you need. And so, yeah, like I think there was just one thing with my friend, and I think he felt like maybe he was not the unique one anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was also me, but that's fine. It's going to happen. And I'm totally okay with that. So, yeah.
Like, like we were discussing earlier, everything does happen for a reason. There's a purpose for it, no matter how, bad or good it is.
Oh, yeah. I've lost probably about 4 friends from this. Mm-hmm. And I think when people realize you're more awakened, just like you're awakened to anything, any cause, any movement, some people who either feel very comfortable about it or are fearful will fade into the background. And I do believe that those things happen for a reason. And people come into your life for different reasons, and they come out of your life for the same reason, to teach you lessons or to experience certain things. And then you move on and meet other people.
So, you were speaking of premonitions. Do you have them both in a dream and awake state?
Yes, I do. I have, and that I think has happened through the meditation and going to the Institute, but I did have dreams before. So I do have dreams in my sleep that are of premonitions, and I also will get like a nagging feeling that I have to say something. So, like I said, I could be talking to somebody on the phone. It could just be customer service. It doesn't necessarily have to be a client. And I'll get this overwhelming feeling that I have to say it. Like, I have to get it out. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just this nagging feeling that you have to say what you need to say. If you don't say it, you got to get it out. And I got to be honest, I'll know the beginning of what I have to say. I may know 3 or 4 words, maybe a brief sentence, but the rest of it just comes out. So it's quite unique.
So, how did you learn to trust your intuition? Were there certain steps you had to take?
Well, I think, reading as many people as you can helps, because it gives you a little bit more confidence. I think the biggest obstacle for anybody in anything is fear. And you really have to release your fears in order to allow yourself to receive energies and messages, especially from spirit. So I think that's one of the things that has to happen. Otherwise, it's if you keep questioning yourself, you're not going to have the confidence to say what you need to say. And like I said, everyone has this. Everyone has a higher level of intuition. And it's about allowing, I'm sure you've had times where you've gone places or you've, experienced different things. Even you have friends that go, something's not right here. Or I don't feel right about this person. or, I'm walking into this room, I don't feel right. And of course, with your work, you're going to rely heavily on that. But it's just having the confidence and the acceptance that this is actually happening and it's okay. And the more comfortable you feel, the easier it will flow, and the more grateful you are for it. I'm always grateful when spirit comes. Because it happens all the time, and to me, it's a gift. But anyone can do this. It's just about releasing. I mean, of course, you have to practice, and I suggest you go somewhere and learn how to do it properly, because you don't want to mess with things that you don't know anything about. There are people that are born this way, but still you need the tools, just like anything else, to navigate it properly. I think that's very important.
Oh, sorry. There's a bug trying to attack me. So when did you first meet your spirit guides?
Well, I always knew I had a spirit guide that was watching over me, like when I was probably in high school and in college. I would never feel that I was alone. I never felt that I was alone. And sometimes I would speak to it, and I would hear a response back. I know that sounds weird, but I would hear a response back, and then I knew it wasn't me saying it. And I felt it was an elderly woman. And then as close relatives of mine have passed on, my spirit guides have become more. One of them is my grandmother. I have another grandmother that's passed. That's one of my strongest spirit guides. And then I have a higher energy spirit guide, which is like someone that's like a shaman. And so now I feel like there's a group of people that I can connect with. And I connect with them through meditation or psychometry. Like I'll hold something of my grandmother's, and I can connect with her in meditation. So I can speak to them. I can have, I'm not constantly having conversations with them. It's not like I'm, but I can connect with them and get answers to things that I never would have had any access or knowledge of, especially if it's going to help somebody. So I say by now I probably have maybe 5.
Yeah, and like, what a blessing, right?
Yeah, but we all have it. You have it. Everybody that's listening has it. We all have it. There's always, there's a voice that you ever hear that you know is not your own, and you know you're not going crazy. It's there. There are spirit guides, and then there are spirit guides that are not necessarily loved ones that have passed on. There are spirit guides that are assigned to you. There's guardian angels that are assigned to you. There are angels. I'm a believer in that. There are multiple entities working to make your life better. And I know it sounds very fairy tale like, but it happens. Just like, there are times where you probably would, wow, something could have happened to me. I wonder how I got out of that. Somebody's there watching out for you.
Yeah, somebody was saying, dude, what is that scratching sound? Are you walking through the grass or somewhere?
What's
it's quiet
scratching
now.
sound?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if you were walking through the grass or what.
Oh, no, I wasn't walking through any grass. Maybe that was spirit.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my next question. Can you tell us how we could reach or meet our spirit guides?
I think you just, this is going to sound very hokey. I don't want to sound hokey, but I'll just go ahead. Hokey, whatever.
We're pretty open-minded.
No, I know. But, it's kind of like, breathe and it will occur. I mean, that just sounds really corny. You have to start meditating. The only way to connect with a higher level is to meditate. Because when you meditate, you're quieting your mind. You're opening your energy levels up. If you're in traffic, you're not going to be able to find your spirit guide. If you're, in a business meeting, it's not going to happen. One of the ways that it could happen is through meditation. And just saying, you know, I'm meditating, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm envisioning this white light that's coursing through my body. I'm opening up my chakras to flow through positive white energy freely. I'm opening my third eye to all to the spirit guide that is guiding me, and really taking the time to meditate through that. And it could happen. I'm not going to say it happens to everybody, because it depends on how open you are. For example, you know, just like any other class, people will start a class and say, oh, I want to do this, I want to be open to this. And after maybe the second session of meditation, they go, oh, it's not for me. Or the fear starts to come in. It is kind of like, you know, allowing things to come to you. And by doing that, you're going to open yourself up, but you have to be okay. Not you would have to be, but you're going to be open to what you hear, and you may not want to hear it. So I think it's just having the positive energy, the positive light. Like I said, breathing in, breathing out. I usually do it about 10 times. I breathe in, I close my eyes, I envision positive light coursing through, you know, my chakras, going through my thorax up into my third eye, opening my third eye up, releasing all the negative energy, doing it again, releasing all the negative energy, doing it again, breathing in all the positive energy, and then saying I'm open to whatever positive spirit guide wants to connect with me. And that helps. That's one way. There's other
and
ways.
I would think, go ahead with the other way, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying there's other ways. I mean, a spirit guide could come to you in a dream. Mm-hmm. And again, it's you know, speaking to, you know, just speaking out your desire. Just the same way you speak out your desires to the universe. If you're a big believer in The Secret, right? The universe is here, it's hearing you. You're calling on the universe and saying, okay, universe, I want to get this parking space. I visualize myself getting the parking space, and I'm happy that I got the parking space, and I'm thankful and feeling that emotion. And saying, I'm so thankful now that I'm going to meet my spirit guide, and really believing it. That's another way. And then, you know, going to sleep. But it takes practice, and it takes time. For some people, like the Dr. Brian Weiss will say it at his past life regression seminars. Some of you, 40% of you, will fall asleep during meditation. It's okay. The other part of you may get a message. It's okay. You know, for him, I think he had practiced for a year before he was able to get a past life regression message to himself. So I think it's being open and knowing that it may not happen instantaneously.
Did he have like that New Yorker sort of monotone voice? Because that was a really good impression, I think.
He's so calm.
Yeah.
He's the calmest dude on the planet.
I've had teachers like that. It's like his voice is so relaxing. Like, how can you help but not to fall asleep, except for you're really interested in what they're saying?
Oh, yeah, and people do fall asleep. People fall asleep when they meditate, and that's okay. That just means you need sleep. You're tired. Patience is another thing, because it doesn't always come. You know.
Yeah. Well, Craig was asking, how have you found past life regression is best for ridding yourself from irrational fears?
Well, when you go through the past life regression process like I have, I mean, I did it on a mass scale. You can find a good past life regression therapist, I believe that's what they're called, or counselor, but make sure they're certified. They will take you through a hypnotic state. And you'll have a choice of different doors you can go through. And depending on how many past lives you've had, and what he would do in his classes, he'd take you to, like, maybe when you open the door, you go to the best, one of the pinnacle moments in your life. Like in one of my past lives, I was a Victorian feminist, if that's even possible. And I owned a house, and I had boarders, and I was independent. And when I got to the proudest moment, I guess, in my life, I was giving a speech. And then what they do is they take you to your death. And you are, because when people pass, before they pass, there are things that come to their mind that they want the most, things that mean the most to them, what they missed out on. They reflect on what they could have done. And a lot of those times, their fears, their most needed things are answered at that time. So that's one of the ways. Because the fear could have been with, and then you see people that you may have connected with. So in one of my past lives, I saw my mother, who was my nurse. So you could have a sibling that could be your father, or your father could be your brother. Mm-hmm. The belief is that a lot of them, a lot of the people that are connected to you, you've chosen to be with them before you were born. To go through the same course again, but maybe they're in a different connection with you. So, and usually that's the belief, is the parents. And so those are the messages you get, and you use each message to figure out and to solve the current issues you have in your life now.
Yeah, and it is really interesting how life goes in circles. And
right.
Because I've heard so many different stories about past life regression, and my mentor being one who had done it, and her daughter being one that was like, remember, Mama, back when I used to wear the big poofy dress with the umbrella, and you were like a little boy, and they just somehow connected, and each time they were in each other's lives, whether she was the mom and she was the daughter, or vice versa. And it's very interesting. Circles is a really big thing in our lives.
Yeah, the belief is that there is a continuous connection of either people that are your immediate family, or, your grandparents, or soulmates, people that you have a deep connection with, that you meet. And there's no reason why you have such a deep connection with this person. You just met them and you connected, and you have such a bond right away, and you're wondering why. Or the people that get on your nerves the most, that are continuously are in your life, mm-hmm. that cause you the most pain. Those people the belief is those people are probably people that were in your past life, and there's an unresolved issue in your past life that you have to correct. I've done the past life regression now 6 times. And each one has been a lesson for me. Either an affirmation or a lesson of some kind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do that.
And, when you go into it, you're like, am I dreaming this? Or am I making this happen? Or am I, those are the questions that fly through your head. And he'll say, just accept whatever is happening. If it's coming to you, just let it come. And for a lot of people, that's very difficult to do. Because the first thing you're going to do is question yourself. Right?
Yeah.
You would, if you see yourself, let's say, in a past life, you're like, is this me? Or is this me willing it to be me?
Yeah, for sure. And that was one of my questions. Let me see. What was it? What was something to do with, how do you know it's not just your imagination or your self wanting it to be? How do you know that it is a past life regression? Is there that just certain knowing, and then there's a flood of other memories that comes along with it? How do you know that it's not just your mind playing games on you?
I don't think you really know for sure, but I think when you're out of it, you realize certain things that you don't even immediately notice until you've written down your experience in your home and you're figuring it out. And sometimes it'll come to you a year later or, 6 months later. It doesn't necessarily mean it's immediate. There are people who go through this and they just fall asleep. If it's a guided past life regression, the person that's experienced and licensed to do it will guide you through it and get the answers that you need because you're under hypnosis. So they'll be able to connect with you to take you to the place where they feel they can get answers for an ailment that you have. Let's say you have a chronic fear of flying and you don't know why. Nothing's ever happened to you in this life where, would warrant you to have a fear of flying. You just have a fear of flying. They could take you back, to a time where maybe there's a reason behind it. And then you'll get the answer.
How easy is it to remember a past life? Was it difficult for you? I think you said you were kind of trying to hang on and you weren't sure if it was your imagination or not.
No, I mean, I feel like all my past lives were real. I write them down. He tells you to write them down. But I would say the same thing with my psychic readings. I probably have a good idea of most of them that I've given. And there's always some kind of mark or reminder for it. Like I just know. It's like knowing. It's like the confidence of knowing. Like your experiences, right? What you've experienced in your training. You just know. You know the rules, right? You know what you're supposed to be doing. It's the same feeling. It's just like you just know that this is right. You feel it in your gut. It's the same feeling you have when you know something is correct. You just have this feeling.
Yeah, just that gut instinct.
Right, and when I'm doing medium work, I get empathic. So I do clear empathy, which is I sometimes have the emotions. Sometimes I have the physical feeling. Not only the physical feeling that spirit is present, but I also have the physical. I sometimes take on the physical ailments temporarily of the person before I start to read.
Yeah,
so
that's gotta kind of suck.
Well, it depends. I mean, sometimes I think spirit does it just to get me to ask the question. Like one of my readings that I had recently, my stomach started to really hurt before the reading. And I was like, maybe I ate something? I don't know. I was like, oh, my stomach's hurting. I don't know why this is happening. And when I got on, I had to ask. I said, either spirit has stomach issues or you have stomach issues. And I said, it's got to be one of the two. And she was like, it's me. And then from that, I was able to continue to tell her what I needed to tell her. It's happened to me, and I'm an empath, so it happens to me quite a bit. It doesn't happen all the time, and I wouldn't want it to. But if it's going to help my reading, I'm open to it. As long as I'm not like really, sick from it.
Yeah, like really stricken down with it.
Well, I did have a reading once because if I'm relaxed, I can do a reading. So this is crazy. If I get a massage, whoever is giving the massage is going to get a reading. Because by the time I'm done, there's just so much. I'm so relaxed. And when I did a reading one time, I felt how the person that had passed felt before they passed, which was pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine.
Yeah, and I've just asked for that not to happen again. I mean, I don't mind being, empathic for certain things to get the message across, but I can say, I'd really like to just get the message across maybe in a different way. But it can be quite. it makes a mark on you. It's kind of like it's a mark that you don't forget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A sort of different scar. So
yeah.
Do you think, yeah. Do you think there's any relation between dreams and past lives? And you would kind of know this, being that you have had the past life regression. Do you find you've had dreams about that era?
No, but this is another reason why a lot of people, I think, are more open to it than now. I was drawn to the Victorian era, for example, from the time I was a child. I was obsessed with it. I wanted Victorian dolls. I read a lot of books, and I couldn't figure out why. Because I was like, why do I care about this? Like, this is not, and that was one of the things. But some of the other ones that I've had, it has nothing to do with anything that I would like. One of my past life regressions, I was a lawyer. Oh, and in past life regressions, you change genders. You don't necessarily, I'm a female, I could be a male.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that I had, I was a male, and I was a lawyer, I think. And I realized that my work took precedence over my personal life when I was close to the end. And I realized, like 6 months later, I was doing the same exact thing without even knowing it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, wow. Yes. Subconsciously. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that at some point in my life I was subconsciously destroying my happiness because I didn't believe that I deserved it. And, once I came to that realization, I was able to break that habit. But it's so funny how our subconscious works a lot of times without us even realizing it until we actually do. So how did you feel after your past life regression? Were you rejuvenated? Did you feel like there was a space fulfilled within you? A new purpose and reason in life, I would expect.
Yes, and I think, I know every time I do a reading, I feel energized. A lot of people ask me, does it drain you? And it actually gives me energy. So the same way that I would feel after experiencing that is the same way I'd feel after doing a reading. The most psychics and mediums should do in readings, at least that's what I was taught at the Holistic Studies Institute, is 4 or 5 max a day. Anything beyond that is just unfair to the client. But it is energizing for me. Because you are taking in energy and you're exchanging energy with something else, with a higher entity, with a spirit. And when you're going into past life regression, you're opening yourself up to anything. And depending on what you witness, depending on what you see, depending on what you feel, you could wake up completely energized. You could wake up very emotional. I've seen people cry from it. It just depends on what you're experiencing.
That's interesting. And it is true because you do get those different energies that come across.
Yes, I mean, definitely. Like my reading that I recently did where my stomach hurt, like maybe 5 minutes into the reading, it didn't hurt anymore because I'd gotten it out.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
The whole point of that was to share with that person. Not that it sounds crazy, but not that their stomach just hurts.
Yeah.
The stomach was a connection to issues they were dealing with. And when you have anxiety, when you have fears, your body will attack itself in certain people. And a result of that is stomach aches, severe stomach aches.
Yeah, it just really depends on what their ailment is.
Yeah, exactly. And so that allowed me to go down a path to read, to provide a reading that was helpful to that person. Because the way I read people is if I'm on the phone, if I'm on the phone with a customer service person and they put me on hold, guaranteed by the time they come back, I will have something to tell them. They didn't ask me for it. I will say, I'm a psychic medium. This is recording, but I'm the one saying it. If you don't want to hear it, you don't have to hear it. And I'll say it because I'll get a message that I have to get out. but when I'm doing readings for people, I ask them to give me 10 questions ahead of time. And I meditate on those questions. Because people have questions they want answered. And if I just start a reading with, this is what I'm seeing, and I'm just going in whatever direction I want, if I'm connecting with spirit or their higher energy, they may walk away not getting all their answers. So that's the way I do it. But if I'm in an airport, which has happened to me, and I'm standing on line next to somebody and I have something to say, I will ask their permission first. And if they're okay with it, which 99% of the time they are, I will tell them. But the way that I conduct my readings is I ask for 10 questions ahead of time, usually about 24 hours before, and I meditate on those questions. I don't read them, I just meditate on them. And then I will read photographs as well. So if I have a photograph, I can read a photograph. And if I'm reading them face to face and they have an object, I read the object as well. And I use all those resources to provide them with the best answers possible that I get from spirit or the higher energy. And most of the time, I don't know what I'm going to say. And I kind of like it that way. Unless, like, I'm getting a strong message. Like I did when I spoke to you. That strong, like the two things that I said, that was just in my head, like over and over again. So I had to get it out.
Yeah, I remember the one being about smoking. What was the other one? I don't remember.
No, the smoking, and then also that because they haven't left. So the smoking. Yeah,
they're still hanging out with you.
Yeah, they're like, could you please just get back to the original statement?
Yeah.
It's also that you've had to grow up really fast.
Oh, okay.
You've had a very difficult life. And then they showed me a lot of barbed wire. Tons and tons of barbed wire. I don't know why. They're saying that there's a significant meaning, the barbed wire. I don't know if it was in your training or if it's around where you live. But they just kept having me draw it over and over again. So when I'm doing a reading or if I feel any kind of, I will sometimes doodle on a piece of paper because I have to get it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did have barbed wire in my past as far as military training and doing combat training. And where I'm living right now, I do have barbed wire running down my driveway and a portion of my house because we have a horse field right next to our house. So that's pretty interesting. And I kind of attribute that to all of the trials and tribulations I've had to deal with through life. Like, like you were saying, as a child, because I had to grow up fast, but even as an adult. But it's all a learning process to me,
Yeah, I think the barbed wire is like, I call them parables. So spirit sometimes talks in triple meanings. It's symbolic, it's symbolism, it's visual, and then it's a message. The visual is the barbed wire I'm seeing, and I'm seeing barbed wire everywhere. So that means that it's in your past and present. But the barbed wire also means, at least what I'm getting from them, is don't enclose yourself. Don't trap yourself into your own. Don't trap yourself into your own, not your own imprisonment, but your own.
Oh.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're going to have to go on hold. We got to go to our first commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages. You guys don't go anywhere.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for some great nightlife? The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Catch a game on one of the big screens or just come rock out to your favorite 80s and 90s hair bands. Great food starting at $6.95. The Moose Vancouver is open until 2 a.m. nightly. It's easy to find near the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Coming September 28th to the 30th, it's our first annual Caribou Paracon, put on by Spaced Out Radio and the Canadian Society of Questers. 3 days of paranormal, supernatural, and spiritual knowledge in the beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Tickets are $150 Canadian for the event, being held at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Come watch our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Lorian Fenton, David Weatherly, Ross Allison, and more. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
When it comes to the news, we look for the stories that the mainstream won't cover. Welcome to Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter. This is News Director Everett Thiemer. The Encounter is about the weird and strange stories that occur daily, and we scour the world looking to bring them to you. You can hear me with Dave Scott every Monday through Friday in our Encounter news segment. Read us online at spacedoutradio.com or check us out and give our Facebook page a like at SOR The Encounter. So come give The Encounter a read.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together we own the night.
Find yourself constantly looking up in the sky, looking for answers? Have you had extraterrestrial contact? Are you an abductee? Looking for answers to your experiences? Hi there, I'm R. Keith Andrews, Spaced Out Radio's resident ET expert. Join me live the first Friday of every month where I take questions from the Spaced Out Radio chat room and help you understand those from the far-off world. It's 2 hours of knowledge every experiencer should listen to. Hope to see you there.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's hour number 3 of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now back to the Rocky Mountains. Here's Tessa.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We have tonight Tricia Lugo, the positive medium or the positive psychic. Thanks for being here tonight, Tricia. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you were telling me something right before the break, and then you said you got something else at the break?
Yes, yes. So Spirit is still with me. There's several Spirit members next to me. So once I started drawing the barbed wire, and then I got stuck on what I was trying to communicate, sometimes it helps to write it out. I don't know what I'm going to write out, so I'm just going to read it, because I wrote it out on the break without thinking. So what it says is, Dear Tessa, don't recreate the very things that have caused pain. We all recreate our past experiences, and whether they're good or bad, and that's what we wish for you, is to find your true freedom beyond what you are doing now. You are a talented, fierce woman who has faced more obstacles in your life than most people have faced, and don't allow them to haunt you because you need to release them as you cut through your own emotional wire.
Yeah, like I had said earlier, I was doing the sabotaging subconsciously because I didn't realize it, and I just internally felt like I didn't deserve to be happy just because of everything that had happened repeatedly in my life. But, I grew to the point where I knew that I did deserve to be happy, and I was able to cut that tie, and I have learned a lot from both of my parents and my uncle, and I try to put those into aspects of my life, but, there are certain things that are harder to get rid of than others, and, the only thing I can think that this pertains to would be, maybe a little bit of jealousy and the smoking aspect of my life.
Well, the smoking came from that other person that you had mentioned, but this is from your parents, because I feel them, and so the fact that they say you're a talented, fierce woman, they want to emphasize that, and they feel like you're just on the beginning of what you're doing. Beyond hosting this show, they show me you doing a lot more things than that. And this is out of all the things that you've experienced in your life, this is probably the truest calling that you've had. And so I think that's what they're trying to emphasize.
Nice. Yeah, and they've come through before on other readings, and said don't worry about all the fighting and stuff that they had done in the past. Like, that doesn't carry over on the other side. It's basically just love and focus on that. And it is kind of traumatizing to kids, but you just kind of got to grow from it and not be the victim, be stronger than that, and know that it's just a part of who you are, and stop the cycle of certain things.
Yeah, and I think that's, they said that, and I think everyone does this, whether you grow up in a household filled with a lot of, disruption, and you think this is not going to happen to me. When you get older, you subconsciously will recreate it because it's what you're used to doing. It's what you're used to experiencing. But they came to me, I think it was your mom first, but the other two people came to me immediately after. But the first person that came to me was not related to you.
Yeah,
and
my dad. And, really not related? I was thinking my Uncle Daddy, because he was the one, when he was on his deathbed of pulmonary fibrosis, a pack of cigarettes fell out of my front shirt pocket, and he gave me that noise that he used to do when he didn't agree with something. And I was like, I know, I'm quitting, and I did a few times since then. But yeah,
well, it's only because you affirmed it, because the first smoking sense that I got was somebody that was coughing horribly, like really bad from smoking, and you shared with me that that's another entity. So I think that first person was that. Then after that, these are people that are connected to you by blood. And,
well, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I will take and learn from that. So do you think, last question on past life regression, because I want to move on to the healing aspect of it, but do you find there are risks and benefits to past life regression, or more one way than the other?
There are risks if you involve yourself with somebody who is not licensed to do it, or they're not certified to do it. And the reason for that is you're messing with someone through hypnosis. If it's risky to allow someone that doesn't have any professional training to do it. I mean, you can do it through your own meditation, but I suggest that you go to Mr. Weiss, Dr. Brian Weiss, because he does these all over the country every year. And you can do that through mass meditation, but that's the risk. The other risk is clinging on to a past life. So you experience a past life and you come back and you're so impacted by it that you kind of recreate it in your own life without knowing. But again, there's a risk with that only if you're doing it under the advisement of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. It's just like anything else. Would you take your car to somebody who claims they're a mechanic but they're not licensed? I mean, it's the same thing. Same as going to a doctor who hasn't gotten a medical degree. The positive aspects of it outweigh it if you do it the right way, because if you're able to experience the past life, or for those that have really chronic fears, and I'm not talking about psychological issues. I'm talking about fears of like heights, or fears of flying, or fears of water, or fears of swimming, and this isn't connected to something that they've experienced within the present life, or it could be something that they experienced early on before they could recall. So sometimes past life regressionists will take you to your early life before you started recalling memory. Usually memories that are impactful will start like somewhere around 5 or 6. So before that, if something traumatic happened, or if you're witnessing something traumatic, that can also, put a stain on your life and produce a real chronic fear that you're not even aware of, because no one shared with you that, you saw something happen or you witnessed something. So sometimes past lives could be just your current life, and they just go way back to the beginning.
Yeah, to like things you didn't remember, you kind of suppressed for some reason.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. But if anyone's looking to do it, they can start with Dr. Brian Weiss, or they can seek out someone who is licensed or certified to do it. Not licensed, but certified.
And that brings me to my next question. Are you a certified healer?
I'm a certified energy healer, and I'm a certified psychic medium. Okay. And it just means I've had training, and I've went through long training to do it. My biggest fear when I discovered that I had this ability to help people through spirit and through message is that I would open myself up to entities that I would not be able to protect myself from. And a lot of people, when they start doing this, are afraid of, like what you deal with ghosts. And there's a difference. Ghosts are people who have not passed on to the higher level. They're still trapped in a continuous loop. So they're souls that have not arisen as yet. They're tortured souls. And one of my biggest fears was that I would attract that. And there is a distinct difference between the two. So being certified gave me the tools to be more aware and to do things properly. I've had people call me and say, could you cast a spell? That is black magic. I'm not casting any spells. You can't force somebody to love you if they don't love you. You can't make someone,
I won't
anytime.
mess with that either.
Don't.
No,
anytime
I won't.
anybody says I can, do all this. And there's difference between that and white witch magic, which is white witch, which is more of like, working with Mother Earth. Doing energy work. That's different. But casting spells on people and, doing anything that's, is somewhere in that realm, then you're attracting more negative energy to you. And when you start to play with negative energy, you don't know what you're doing, it can become quite dark. Mm-hmm. And so, I didn't want to do that, and I felt much better after I was certified because I knew, what I needed to do, the code of ethics that you have to follow. It just made me more equipped to give the right messages. And I don't play, I don't play those games like I feel a Mary, and I somewhat a M, and
starts with an M, could be Maggie,
could be S. And there are people that do that and they know what they're doing. I personally don't do that because I feel in the spirit world, no one gives a crap about your name. They are spiritual entities connected to you. So for me personally, I'm more interested in what message they're trying to give to you so I can give to you to have a better life. If you want me to go back in the past and share with you what happened to them or whatever have you, I can do that. But I'm more interested in how can I give you messages to help you now in the present and in the next several months? That is more important to me, personally.
Yes, definitely. The present is exactly that. It's a present. Not everybody gets the gift of life, and sometimes some are shorter than others, and, they forget that, and I think it should be treated as such. It should be treated as a gift because that's what it is.
Right, and every time I end a reading, I thank Spirit for giving me the messages because it's through them and through your higher energy as well that I'm able to give you the message you need. So I'm always grateful for the gift that I have and for the ability to pursue it.
Okay, so my next question was, how can one know if they have the potential or ability to be a healer?
Well, healing has to do with being able to having clear energy for yourself and then being able to channel that energy from the person's higher energy to heal them. So it's not taking your energy to do the energy healing. It's taking the higher energy of the person to heal them. You're just redirecting the energy. If you were to take your own energy to heal someone else, then you'd be drained from your own energy. And in order to do energy healing, you should take a class because it is very tricky to try and do energy healing or even Reiki healing without getting the proper training because it's not about taking your own energy. A lot of people think it's taking your own energy and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with channeling the higher energy and directing it to somebody else. And people can do it.
And processing and getting rid of that negative and other energy you're trying to get rid of.
Right. So you would clear your own energy, so you have positive energy, and then you would take the higher energy of the person, because we all have higher energies. We have our energy, the third eye, and then the energy above your head, the chakra, and then there's energy higher than that, and that energy is what you're taking to heal the person, not your own energy, because you drain yourself.
And that was my next question. What is the source you draw from for healing? And you just answered that already.
Yeah, it's a higher, and I know it sounds like, oh, well, it's a higher energy. Where's it coming from? I mean, it's through meditation. It really is through meditation, and you can learn it through Reiki healing. You can learn it through there's so many places now that train you, and I suggest you get the training. Don't look at a YouTube video and try to do it. I mean, go ahead, but I'm a big believer in get the proper tools to do something before you start trying it.
And
where
did you say you went to school again?
The Holistic Studies Institute.
And where is that?
It's in New York and in Albany. There are two centers. But there are other centers around, there's ones in London. There are ones throughout the country. And for Reiki healing, you can go to so many different places now. I mean, so many places offer it. And what you do is when you're in meditation and you're doing the energy healing, what you do is you go over the body and you sense the areas where the pain is. And you do like an oversensory thing, and you can actually feel it. And then you focus the energy on healing in that direct place. And then while you're doing it, you actually do get psychic messages if you're tuned in, because the energy of the body is speaking to you. So you could be tuning in and you could be feeling the pain in someone's, I don't know. A lot of people carry pain in their shoulders, or they carry pain in their lower back. That pain could represent a bunch of different things. The most obvious is you're not lifting objects properly. You're somebody that lifts things all the time, and instead of doing it the proper way of lifting, you're just standing up and pulling it up. Okay, that's obvious. But when you're in tune with someone and you're doing the energy healing, you can actually tell them what's the cause of it, because the body is speaking to you. The energy from the body is speaking to you, and you can actually tune in and share. Oh, I sense that your lower back is hurting, or I sense that your left shoulder is hurting. And I know this pain comes from X, or, I sense that sometimes your throat hurts, and maybe I feel that is because you're not speaking your truth. You feel trapped. So the pain in your throat is representing the fact that you can't speak your truth. A lot of times this pain is not physical pain from working in a coal mine. It's pain from stress. It's pain from experiences that you're holding on to. It's pain from inability to speak your mind. It's pain from the hurt that someone's giving you, and that's where you're centering it. A lot of times it really isn't physical pain from labor. Mm-hmm. And if Louise Hay is a big believer in that your pains, she has a book that explains everything of what your pains mean. If you have a headache, she tells you why you have a headache. And this whole book goes through every single item. And some people believe it, some people don't. Everybody, is entitled to what they believe. But it tells you what those pains mean as far as from an emotional level.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next question. Do faith and belief matter when it comes to spiritual healing?
I think faith in yourself and knowing that spiritually you're doing something positive is helpful. I think anytime that you have some kind of deep-rooted feeling. I don't know all the psychics that I know that I've connected with have some kind of spiritual faith connection. I don't know any that don't rely on some higher power, not to help them, but just the belief in it, that the work that they're doing is good. And some will speak about God when they're reading you. Some will speak about prayer. Some will speak about meditation. Some will speak about Buddhist chanting. I think it just depends on the person. But I think spirituality in all shapes and forms does help, because that means you believe in a source that you can't see. Just like how psychic and medium messages is believing in something that you can't see. I've chosen not to see spirit at all. I don't want to see them. And some psychic mediums can do that. They can actually see, just like how some people can see, ghosts, paranormal activity. I've chosen not to. I'd rather feel. But again, your belief is in something that you can't most times not see.
Yeah. And you were saying before, meditation, like I've heard it so many times through our conversation, meditation is important. Do you find yoga is helpful as well?
Yoga opens you up. It opens up your chakras. It opens up everything. I do yoga as much as I can. I would love to do it every morning and night if I could, but I can't, because who has time when you're doing all this other stuff? But I think yoga and meditation totally helps balance you out. It helps you to be more equipped. Yoga helps you with flexibility and being in tune with your body, because you're doing deep breathing while you're stretching out your body. And, prayer is a form of meditation, and meditation is a form of quieting your mind and allowing yourself to be grounded, to be aware, to be more aware. And now there's studies that show that all those things help you to be more present. I'm sure you've heard of the mindful movement. Everybody's into being mindful. When you're doing meditation, when you're doing yoga, you are being mindful. Now, if you fall asleep, you're resting so much that you doze off. But during that time that you're breathing in and you're focusing on your breath, or you're visualizing, you are in the present moment. You're being mindful. You're not off somewhere else. Now, if you start to daydream, that's another thing, and that's totally cool. Mm-hmm. But being mindful and being present in the moment is very difficult for a lot of people. And yoga and meditation helps you to do that. And when you're present and you're mindful, you are experiencing this moment in its best way. Buddhists believe in that completely. And it's hard to do that, if you're rushing from here to there, if you got a lot of stuff on your mind. And it'll help in so many ways. If you're having a conversation with a friend, a lot of times people will listen to half of what the friend is saying, and then they're thinking what they're going to say to the friend before the friend stops talking. If you're mindful, you've listened. You really listened to the person, and you're aware of them beyond just what they're saying. You're aware of their body language, of their eyes on you. You're connected to them. You're really absorbing everything that they're saying. So by the time you're ready to say something, it is going to be way more beneficial to them than if you were just sitting there and thinking about what you're going to say before they start talking, or before they're finished talking, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how you get that, I don't know. I finish my husband's sentences and stuff all the time, and he'll tell me, get out of my head, or I was just about to say that, get out of my head.
Well, that's different. You probably have a very deep connection with your husband. Mm-hmm. So that's different. That's more being in sync with him, because you guys have spent a lot of time together. You're connected on many different levels. You have the similar interests, the same pursuits. So that's going to be more magnified. So now you're connecting probably on an energy level. That's different from you sitting with someone and you they're talking, and you already have in your mind what you're going to tell them.
Well, yeah, and I know I have certain gifts. I'm empathic, apathic, intuitive, and there's so many things I'm learning about myself all the time. But like I was saying earlier, I don't like to put labels on myself. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like people are going to expect more from me than I can always provide, And,
right.
So I just kind of keep it to myself and try to help whoever I can with it. Whether or not they listen, that's up to them. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
No, you can't make anybody drink.
Yeah.
You can't. No one's drinking if they don't want to. They
That's
drink when they're ready.
So how can one know for sure if one has intuition?
Well, I mean, I guess there's many different ways you could do it. One of the easiest things to do is something very easy. Every room carries an energy, and this isn't really intuition. This is more of like, well, it's a combination of intuition and really feeling something, like having a feeling, which is more of like a on a psychic level, but that's intuitive. If you walk into a room and the room feels weird or off, you go, I don't know, I feel right in this room. Walk back out, see how you feel when you're outside, and walk right back in. That's making you aware of the energy in the room. Another way to tell that you're intuitive is if you encounter somebody, if you meet somebody, and it's before they even start speaking, just from their energy, just from what you're feeling, there's just something off about them. You can't shake it. You don't know why. I don't know. I don't feel right with this person. That's your intuition. And intuition can be easily confused with paranoia, fear, and insecurity. So it's like if you have a boyfriend and he's, I don't know, 20 minutes late coming home, and you have this feeling that maybe he's out with somebody else, whatever have you. You have to ask yourself, is this based on intuition or is this based on fear or insecurity?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can confuse you. But if he's out and he, you try to reach him, something in you says, something's not right. He usually calls me at this time. Something's off. It could be that he was delayed at work. It could be anything. But if you feel that feeling, it's an overwhelming feeling. And when he gets home, and you go, something was wrong. Did something happen to you today? He goes, yes, that's intuition. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, you were 20 minutes late, and did something happen to you today? No, I was stuck in traffic. There's a difference. So intuition is just a feeling that you get that it's a strong feeling that you get, and you can't shake it. You're like, something's not right here. Yeah. And the ways to test it is just to, and you can develop it. And I hate to say this, but you develop. Everybody has intuition. We're all born with intuition, but we have to get out of our own way.
And that was my next question. How can one tell their intuition apart from their agenda? How does one know when they are perceiving something or when they just think something is because they want it to be that way? How do you tell the difference?
Well, you have to be really honest with yourself, and a lot of times people find that very difficult. But the question you always have to ask yourself is this a habit I do normally? So if your intuition is telling you that the person's late because they're being unfaithful, right? Is this a pattern that you've developed over time? Is this something that I'm always feeling? No matter who I'm with, I'm always feeling that if they're late, there's something wrong. They're doing something wrong. Is this a pattern of my behavior? Is this something that I always do? If I meet everybody and I feel like something's always wrong with them, am I always judging them? You can meet somebody and you can feel like something's not right about this person. Let me get a chance to know them, and then I can see if I'm correct. And you can find that out, within a couple of interactions with that person, and that can affirm your intuition, your intuitive feeling. But you have to ask yourself: is this something that I am indicative of me? Am I somebody who is always judging people? Am I someone who is always suspicious of people? Am I someone who is always thinking that someone has a hidden agenda? And if you don't know the answers to those questions because you're not being real with yourself or you find it difficult, ask someone close to you, your best friend. They'll tell you. Oh yeah, you're always judging people. I mean, God, But if you have this, this feeling, it's like this gut feeling. It's a feeling in your gut. Mm-hmm. You just have to
you can't
test
shake
it out. you can't shake it, it's, then test it out. But to know the difference is just to look at your patterns. Because there are people that judge people all the time. They can't help themselves. And it all comes down to fear. We're all afraid. Everyone. We're all afraid of something. Something, someone, some experience, the unknown. We're all afraid. We all work, a lot of people, most people work on some kind of fear. And you've got to ask yourself, is this out of fear, my own fears, or is this a gut feeling that I'm having? And usually you'll know the answer. You'll know the answer because your inner voice will tell you. If you listen to your inner voice more often, not your doubted voice, not the voice that's questioning everything you're doing, but the inner voice, it will tell you. And meditation helps with that.
Okay, and so if one is wanting to develop their intuition, if they feel like it's weak and they need to build on it, how long does it take to perfect one's intuition? Do you think it would be just a matter of time and practice?
I think it depends on the person. There are some people that have a lot of blockages around them, that they need to clear through first before they get to a level where they can be honest with themselves and be open to these types of things. I'm sure with the things that you've practiced over time, like you said, you've developed more things and you're realizing more things because you're open to more things, because you're working on releasing a lot of things. So for somebody who's developing their intuition, and if they take a class on intuitive learning, they're offered at the Omega, they're offered in many different places, and they're opening themselves up to healing, the intuition could happen. But there's no specific time frame, like, oh, you're going to learn intuition in a week, it's going to be great. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because it depends on how blocked you are.
Yeah.
And it depends. You could be born with just a higher intuitive level. I'm sure everybody has a friend that is never wrong, and most times she's right. Or he, this is going to happen. Or I feel this is going to happen. And they just got it. It just clicks for them. And there are other people who, it's very hard for them to look in the mirror and just to be honest with themselves about anything. So I think it has to do with removing a lot of the blocks and obstacles in your way. And with that, you'll be able to develop a higher intuitive nature. And, taking a class will definitely help because it'll speed it along as opposed to you trying to do it yourself. But I think clearing out, and the classes will help you do that. Clearing out your obstacles will help you develop your intuition. But some people can develop it in a very short space of time, meaning, in over a weekend. If they practice, and that's the other thing. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go to this class. I'm going to learn about intuition, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to leave, and that'll be it. It's continued practice. If I didn't meditate as much as I did, it doesn't mean I wouldn't be able to deliver messages, but I don't know if I'd be as heightened if I didn't continue to meditate all the time. So you've got to want to be in it to continue it. In it to win it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because these things fade, you know what I mean? Like, my gift won't fade, but I'm much stronger when I meditate. And it's the same thing with that. Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to do it after. They don't want to practice after.
Yeah. Well, you got to, it's just like working out or whatever. You got to keep building your muscles and, whether it's your body or your spirit or, whatever training you're giving yourself. Practice makes perfect, and you got to keep exercising that muscle.
It is like working out. That is a good analogy.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about, like, your volunteer endeavors and, your good works for your fellow man?
Well, I did volunteer for the suicide hotline for the Jewish Federation years ago when they had it in New York. I did that for 2 years. I had to take a 6-week course in reflective listening. and that was very rewarding work to do. And I'm actively pursuing that the opportunity to volunteer in that world again, especially now since suicide is such a huge topic. But I did it for 2 years, and there's a lot of people in pain, a lot of people in distress and in pain, and they're overwhelmed, and they feel a deep loneliness. And a lot of times they're just people that want to talk to somebody that will reflectively listen. And that's different from, someone coming to you and saying, I'm feeling a lot of pain. You're like, oh, yeah, I know you're in pain. It looks like you're in pain, but don't worry. Just go here and it'll be fine. And trying to not stay in the moment of what they're feeling and not recognizing their feelings. Which is hard for a lot of people to do. So they train you for 6 weeks, and you role play, and you're told to do reflective listening, which means you're empathically, it's some empathy, but really just repeating and hearing what they're saying and reflecting how they feel. So if somebody says, I just don't know how I'm going to deal with this day to day. It's so hard for me to get up in the morning. I feel so lost. It's just really difficult. I would say, wow, I hear that you are feeling very lonely and you feel misguided. And that must be so frustrating for you. You just continue it and continue it. And of course you get to a point where you give them options to find some kind of direction. But it's a very different type of listening than what people normally do, which is, they listen and then they offer their opinion. And what I learned in that class more than anything else, because I was always a friend, I had an opinion, is that nobody really wants to hear what you got to say.
No. They'll ask really and they'll just disregard it.
Exactly. They ask you, but they already have in their mind. And the answer is really in you. It's not in your friend. And that's different now from, going to a counselor and seeking counselor and therapy. But they do the same thing. They can give you guidance and tools. But at the end of the day, the answer is within yourself. And so your ego is literally given a wake-up call because no one really wants to hear your opinion. They just want to be heard. And a lot of times people are not heard. The person listening is trying to help them, but they really don't want to hear what you have to say. They want you to hear them.
Yeah, they just need an outlet.
Right. And if it's hard to do because everybody has an opinion, but once you really start practicing it, it is the stress that you feel when someone's telling you their problem, you no longer feel. Because you're not taking in their problem, you're reflecting how they feel. And then after you do a couple reflections, you go, well, what do you think about that? What do you think? Let's just say it's one of the top things I get asked about: boyfriend, girlfriend, same partner, doesn't matter. Love relationships. Oh, he's just, I take care of him. I do the dishes. I pay for his bills, and he just, for my birthday, he gave me 3 balloons. I can't believe why he would do that. And I go, wow, it sounds like you're really frustrated by him. It sounds like it's upsetting to you. You're hurt that he didn't recognize your special day. Blah, blah, blah. We go on for a while, and then the person will go, well, I just don't understand why he just won't do more.
Yeah.
And then I would say, well, do you really think he's capable of doing more? And then the answer would come from the person, not me. And when you do that, you're not taking on, not to say that you don't care, because you do care for your friend or your loved one or your partner or your relative, but you're not taking in the energy of their problem. You're reflecting it back to them, and then you're giving them their guidance to solve their own issue, which then gives them empowerment. And I'm not going to say that right away they're going to go and, oh, I've got the answer now, I'm going to change my life. And it'll take time. But who knows if that conversation could be the spark for them to really figure out what's best for them. Because it came from them, not you.
Yeah, true. You just kind of got to, like you said, put that mirror in front of them or whatever. Ask them that question for them to acknowledge it, because they might not have thought of that perspective or, that thought process during that certain time and place for them.
Yeah, but the reflection is what's most important. Everybody wants to be heard, and a lot of people aren't, which is unfortunate. But I've done volunteer work in soup kitchens. I've done volunteer work with gay men's health crisis. I've done volunteer work in online for many different organizations. And I feel like it's part of my life's mission to continuously help people and to make an impact in whatever shape, form I can do, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever you can do to help each other and build each other up. And, helping your fellow man is also helping yourself. Like, don't run around being a fool and, getting trampled on, but put yourself out there and help people. If they want to burn that bridge down or chop that tree down, let them do so, and you just carry on with your life and lesson learned.
Right.
I think it's very important to help each other and, serve each other.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the best things that I can do.
So can you tell us a bit about some of your healing success stories and variations thereof?
Basically, when I do a healing, it usually there's a reading involved in some way. But what happens is that someone will come to me and say, I'm feeling pain. Could you do a healing? It could be anywhere from pain throughout their body. A lot of times I find it's pain within the upper areas of the back, or maybe in the ability to speak in their thorax, which happens a lot. And we go through a process. The healing usually takes about 40 minutes. Time flies. You don't even notice it. And then after that, I share what I also have seen while I'm doing the healing. And it's kind of like when you get a massage, you're supposed to go home and rest. It's the same thing. You go home and you rest. And you'll probably sleep and feel more relaxed. But you also take the information I provide and try to release the pain that you're experiencing. Because like I said, a lot of that is emotional as well. So a lot of times I get people who are not able to be heard, like I said, and it could be sharing with the person that they've always wanted to share with the truth about something. It could be a secret that someone's been holding for a very long time, and the pain is manifested in their in near their throat, or around that area where they can't speak the truth. So I've had that happen many times. And I also then will read whatever messages I have from that healing. So everybody, it's a lot of it's like a lot of the issues that come up for some reason seem to be similar, but it just happens in different ways. People hold pain. There's certain parts of your body where you just hold pain. So maybe, for me, my pain's always in my upper shoulder area.
Yeah, mine's in between my shoulder blades.
Right. It could be between the shoulder. They're carrying too much, or holding too much. Not physically, managing too many things, too much stuff going on, too many things happening. Being able to slow down. You don't have to accomplish all this in this space. You could pick one or two things, and the third thing's not gonna crumble if you don't do that. Giving yourself time which a lot of people don't do. You know, you don't have to accomplish everything within a week. You don't have to accomplish everything within a year. Nothing's going to happen. And I think that the stress of, especially what's happening during these times, a lot of people are taking on stress of things that aren't even directly related to them, indirectly related to them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are choosing to ignore, but they really can't ignore because the energy of everyone is being affected, if that makes sense. So, like, what's happening with this country, even if you don't turn the TV on, let's just say, you're going to be affected by it because so many other people are being affected by it, and they're carrying that energy with them. So sometimes you can't even avoid it. So that's more of a group energy. That's a larger energy scale. So yeah, that's usually what happens with my healings.
Nice.
They usually take about an hour.
An hour?
Yeah, usually.
That's sweet. And, you know, you were saying you don't get drained by it. You actually get energized, and that's a pretty awesome effect of what you do. I know a lot of people who have the spiritual ability, and depending on, like, our paranormal cases that we do, can really be draining. So it's nice to have a job where, you know, you get that energy back. You're putting it out, and you're getting it back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do more than 5 a day, because I think beyond that, it wouldn't be fair to the client. It wouldn't be fair to the person I'm reading, because after a while you do. It's kind of like a car. But I think when you're dealing with the paranormal, especially ghosts, it's different. Their energies are going to be different from spirit energy. And I can understand why someone would be drained, because they're tortured. So it's kind of like dealing with somebody who comes to you who's, you know, a friend who comes to you and they're just simpatico with you. They're a nice friend. You guys have good times. They come to you with a minor problem. Okay. You guys talk about it. You feel better. Move on. As opposed to a friend who carries tons of burdens, is always negative, is always, you know, complaining, is always la la la. That's going to be more draining. That's how I compare, you know, reading spirit versus dealing with the paranormal.
Yeah, and do you think dead energy is draining? Like it can have those negative effects on you?
I've experienced it myself. I had a ghost who was in one of my apartments that I lived in before, and she didn't manifest herself until I had a child. And turns out that her child had passed in the same room. And she did everything she could to make herself present, because she had no idea that she had passed. That is draining. It is scary. It is draining. It is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was able to get a psychic medium that specializes in that type of work to speak to her, to tell her to go to the light, that she had passed. It was okay. But it's you know this, it's like being in a loop. You're on a loop. You're just on a continuous loop. And you don't understand why these people are here. Why are these people here? Why are they moving things? Why are they changing things? And usually it happens when you start to change things. When you start to change things in a house, they will show. Or if something comes in that's foreign, or it relates to something that they've connected to from the past. And they don't understand why this is happening. And they don't know that they're gone. They just don't know. And I found that extremely scary. That was years ago now. I don't think I'd find it as scary now, but it's not something that because there are psychic mediums will come in and they'll cleanse the house. I can do that, but I don't know if I'd want to deal with having to speak to. I'd need probably special training in that for that, and I haven't gotten special training in that because it takes a certain type of person to do that. You have to be extremely grounded, extremely. And you have to be able to get through to them, because a lot of times they're just so angry. I mean, there are ones that aren't, but there are ones that are extremely angry and tortured, and they're repeating what happened to them, the negative aspects of what happened to them in a loop. And I can see why that would drain anyone.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm feeling sorry for you now because you're all the way in New York, right?
Oh, yeah, but I'm totally energized.
Awesome. I was like, man, it's gotta be.
But when I get up tomorrow, I don't know. But
yeah,
I could run a mile right now.
That's right. I know it's always hard for me to come down after a show. Like the energy just like amps me up so much, and I got to go through my process of dimming the lights and even the lights on my phone to kind of do that eye trickery to make myself tired, so I'll go to sleep. But it's funny how that works.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So do you think there is a difference between being psychic and intuitive?
Yeah, so the thing is that psychics are mediums, but mediums aren't. Not all mediums are psychics. So psychic is using your higher energy, is using higher energy and your intuition. Medium is using spirit energy. So you can be an intuitive. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a medium. So it doesn't mean that not everybody that's intuitive can speak to spirit. It's two different things.
Nice. Well, thanks for clarifying that. And we have to go to break right now, and we'll be back in our third hour for some live readings.
Sure.
Great.
The first annual Caribou Paracon is happening September 28th to 30th in the 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Brought to you by the Canadian Society of Questers and Spaced Out Radio. Come listen to our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Elizabeth Anglin, Paisley Town, Mike Moran, Eric Cooper, and more. It's a 3-day supernatural adventure at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Tickets for the weekend are $150 Canadian. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us and bring your questions for us to investigate right here on Spaced Out Radio.
There's news, and there's the encounter. This is Spaced Out Radio News Director Everett Thiemer inviting you to check out The Encounter. Our half-hour news segment every Monday through Friday night is different compared to what you're used to. Our goal is to bring you the weird, strange, and interesting stories the mainstream tends to leave out, and stories that will make you scratch your head in disbelief. The Encounter can also be found at spacedoutradio.com and on our Facebook page, SOR The Encounter. Come give us a read.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. Here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. And you can follow Tessa on Twitter at Tessa TNT. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're in hour 3, and this is where we get to our live readings. If you don't like to hear yourself and you don't like the sound of your voice, go ahead and type your question into the chat room. Our Skype number for all you guys and gals out there is 970-335-9596. Today is Yvonne's birthday, and she has a reading question from the room. Happy birthday, Yvonne. Let's see. When I do Lomi Lomi, clients go through profound cathartic experience. Is this from form of seal retrieval? Also, I am channeling during this. I sense there is more than one presence. Who are they?
Okay, well, happy birthday, Yvonne. What does she mean by Lomi Lomi? I don't know. Is she doing like a channeling?
She's actually originally from Hawaii. It may be some form of meditation from there. Maybe
And
she'll
she
let us
wants
know.
she wants to know if there are multiple spirits present when she's doing a healing.
Yeah, she says her clients go through profound cathartic experience. And also, she's wondering if she's channeling during this because she senses there is more than one presence and wondering who they are.
When she's doing this, she's also there's a lot of chanting, and is there music as well?
And we do have a bit of a delay. It's about 20 seconds.
Because I see a woman chanting, and there's music.
And she had said in past shows that her grandmother or great grandmother was a shaman, so that could be part of that. And maybe
Right. I see chanting and music, and I see a circle of people, and I see also a ring around that circle, like a bright light, maybe a fire. So maybe these people are from times of long ago, in addition to 2 or 3 members of spirit that has passed on. One was a recent passing, and the other one was several years ago, as well as the other one. I see 2 female entities, 1 male, and then the rest are elders from a long time ago.
And she's saying Lomi Lomi is energy massage, and she said yes to the music.
Yes, so I see a woman deep in meditation that is making an impact, but I see a circle of fire around her, and around that circle of fire, I see a bunch of people. I'd say about 5 or 6, but there are 3 that are from this current time frame of her, which means that there are people that have passed on within her time, and then the other 2, what did I just say? 3, 2 people are elders. But when she chants and when she goes into her chanting and her singing, and the thing is going, and she's feeling all this energy, and then she's feeling like, if she's feeling a fluttering, if she's closing her eyes and she's feeling all this fluttering going around, like there's a shifting, that means the people around her are circling her and giving her the energy she needs to heal whoever she's trying to heal, whether that be one person or many people.
Yeah, she says.
But I do see.
She senses several ancient shamans, Kumu past 2017, and Franciscan monk as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. She's very gifted. She's very gifted.
She definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, I had another question before we get into our call-in question, and it's from Christopher, and he says, can Tricia tell me why I got in a dream a Fabergé egg? I have had a visit when I was in the hospital as a toddler. The guy in the dream that gave it to me said, he said, I know your, hold on one second. I know your story.
What?
Hello?
Hi.
Call and guess. He said, can Tricia tell me why I got in a dream he received a Fabergé
egg?
Yeah. And the guy said...
And a long time ago, he said a long time ago, somebody said to him, I know your story.
Yeah, the guy in the dream, as he was a toddler, which was a long time ago, the guy said, I know your story.
I know your story. All I see is like a past life regression, maybe some spirit that has followed him through. But the Fabergé egg, he's alone. Christopher lives alone.
I believe he lives with his family, his mother and stepdad.
But he spends a lot of time alone.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. The reason I believe that I think the egg, a Fabergé egg is a very valuable piece of art that's collected. It's auctioned off. It's something unique. It's something special. I think the I Know Your Story is from a spirit that has followed him to a current life that was from a past life, maybe a connection from the time he was born. But I feel like the current messages he's giving is that he's isolating himself because he doesn't feel as precious as the egg is, if that makes sense. The egg signifies a meaning of value. It signifies a meaning of something that's valuable, something that's precious, something that's preserved. People don't just take Fabergé eggs and go bowling with them. They put them in a case. They look at them. They view them. Right?
Yes.
I sense that he's spending a lot of time by himself because he's having issues with his own sense of self, his own sense of being, his own self-worth.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much
It's
for that.
It's hard to do that because I don't know what he's.
Well, I think you're pretty
But it's
right
fine.
on.
That's
I know
fine.
it. He's been going through it with this stuff, and it makes sense
Yeah,
to me.
but the egg signifies that you are valuable and you are treasured, and you don't think that you are not. And you have to start to allow yourself to believe it, as opposed to thinking that it's something very far away and not reachable within your grasp. That's basically what it means.
Okay, and then we actually have a caller right now, and the area code is 402, followed by 214. Who are we talking to?
Hi, honey, it's Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Good. I was excited about the medium. Any messages from my family regarding the situation I'm in with a lot of misinformation? People have been slandering me, and I'm wondering if that's going to turn around.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
You have a lot of naysayers.
I know.
That can't handle your honesty. You're extremely blunt. And sometimes, now I'm very blunt when I give messages, so please excuse me if I'm too blunt. What I see is somebody who has always been very honest, and at times people take your honesty in wrong ways, and it has nothing to do with your intentions. Your intentions are well-meaning. It has to do with the fact that your communication is so direct.
Yes.
And sometimes the way that you say things is so emphatic that it intimidates people. And instead of them accepting your message, your intimidation gets lost, and the message gets lost with the way that you're saying it. And I understand the pain that you've gone through. I see that you've gone through a lot of pain and grief. And it hasn't been easy for you.
No.
And nobody understands it better than you. Nobody. Nobody can speak better than you on what you've been feeling. There is nobody else that can say, you know what, Sharon, I understand what you're feeling, because they can't. And that's how you feel. That's how you feel. And you feel that way because nobody has communicated clearly to you the pain that you've been feeling for years, for many years. And right now I have two spirits next to me echoing that. And they're saying, Sharon, you are loved. You are important. But you have to allow people to absorb what you're saying without allowing them to believe that the anger you're holding is always at them, because you're not really angry with them. You're angry with what's happened to you. It's not fair. It's not fair. You've been through a lot. But when you communicate, try to be more aware of how you're communicating. Because you are special. And I don't think you get told that enough. You are a special person. And yes, it's unfair what has happened to you. And yes, you ask yourself, why me? Why is this always happening to me? Why are these things happening to me? And some of that is just fate. That's just the way things are. And that's the way things happen. And it's unfortunate. And sometimes, the universe, it happens in a way where certain people get picked over other people for things to happen to. And I can tell you it's a lesson, but that's not going to be okay for you to hear. But some of this now that is happening to you is because of the anger that you've been holding. It's not all justified. You do have naysayers in your circle that you need to release. Convincing them of what you're trying to say and convincing them of what you're trying to do is a waste of time. They're never going to hear you. They're never going to see you. They're going to continue to just disrupt your life with negative energy. You have to get rid of those people. At least that's what they're telling me. I have 2 people here.
I hope that's helpful, Sharon. And we do have to kind of cut our time on each reading. Do you feel like you got what you needed from the reading?
I just wondered who the 2 people were.
Pardon me?
She said there were 2 people there, and I just wondered who they were.
I'm sensing a older female,
Okay.
like maybe like a grandmother. I get a sister as well.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have a sister, but
well, it could be somebody that was close to you, like a sister. It doesn't necessarily need.
Yeah, a cousin or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be someone that was very close to you that had a connection with you, like a sibling. But the person that's talking to me says, she's like a sister to me.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your. I just so happened to have confronted one of the people that were stealing my mail today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came right out.
Yeah.
I said, I've never done anything to you. Yeah, he wouldn't answer me. He's kind of special needs, but he knows exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people put him up to it. It's just not good. I told him that he shouldn't be hanging around with the bad people.
Yeah.
So, you're right on about my directness. Because I kind of, I don't like to, and I go directly to the person. I don't do the backstabbing gossip thing.
Which is a good thing. It's good to be direct, but what they're saying is that just take a pause before you speak and try to say it with compassion. And you'll be surprised.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Next we have area code 662. Caller, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Tessa. Hey, Miss Tricia. This is Caden.
Hey, Caden.
Hi, Caden.
All right, so I just have a quick question. I talked to some people in the chat. I went in reference to the past life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I may be a new soul because I don't have any flashbacks or anything drawn to places I've never been. So am I a new soul?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I sense that you have a innocence about you. I can't tell if you have a past life. The belief is that most people have past lives. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go somewhere and feel deja vu. Do you have any fears?
I had fears, but they were I had just one fear, but that's just basements. It's because my sister tormented me when I was little.
Right. So that's something that's happened in the current.
Yes.
You have a very, positive light around you. You seem to be very easygoing. You're well liked. People are drawn to you. I don't sense much negative energy. But in order for you to really find out if you have a past life is if you go through hypnosis. But if you have no fears that are explained and you don't have anything tormenting you, I don't see that, it's possibility that you could be a new entity. It doesn't necessarily mean, but I would always check if you feel like, it could also be a connection. Do you have a profound connection with somebody in your life that's not related to you?
I mean, just my wife. The first time I met her, I told her it was like a invisible umbilical cord. I didn't even know her name, didn't know anything about her. I was just drawn to her.
Just knew.
I'm going to marry her. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, then there's possibility that you've had a past life with her.
Okay.
Which is a nice thing. Most people don't get a chance to marry their soulmate. They, people go through life and they meet soulmates, and for whatever reason, they're not connected in this life, or they, cease the connection. You married your soulmate. You're a very lucky man.
Very lucky.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it. I seem to think that I'm the lucky one, but yes, ma'am, I see what you're saying.
Well, you're both very lucky, and you have a very positive light around you. You seem to always have the tendency to look on the brighter side of things. You don't spend time weighing on the negative, which is good.
No, that was a skill that was hard learned.
Yeah, but you've learned it, right? So
yes, ma'am.
It's working out for you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Caden.
Thanks, Tessa.
Have a good night.
He's so lucky. Wow.
He is.
Not many people get a chance. No, not many people get a chance to marry their soulmate. Very few.
That's awesome. Well, I don't really have a reading question from this person. It's more of a question about your ability, and he was wondering, this is Robert White, what is the greatest distance you have been able to heal people from?
Remotely from here to Florida. But I can do it farther than that.
That's pretty good distance.
Yeah. And the healings, like if you're healing an ailment, it's different from trying to heal a disease. Mm-hmm. Okay? Somebody has a disease, it may take continuous healing, and that healing may help to prolong the lifespan of someone. And people see it in churches all the time, where people do all this type of healing. And it's energy healing. But I do believe in destiny and fate, and certain things happen for a reason. So healing someone's pain is different from healing someone who is terminal.
Yes.
It just prolongs it. Now, I have done a healing for someone that was a relative of mine that was in the hospital, but I knew that they were going to come out of it. So I just sent positive energy and light to them, which is different.
Well, thank you for clarifying that for us. Our next call-in that we have for a reading is area code 604. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Amanda. How are you?
Good, Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to be one of those boring people with more of a general question of, I don't have anything like on mind, but no, actually I'm not.
You're very funny.
Just kind of
You're the
am
life
I?
of the party,
Sometimes.
Right? You're the life of the party?
Sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Do you have dogs, Amanda? Yeah. Do you have a dog?
Pardon me?
Do you have a dog?
No. But ironically, I was thinking today how I would love to have a dog, but I'm not allowed pets where I live, so.
Oh, because as soon as you started speaking, I saw a dog.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've got animal dogs on my bed.
But you want a real live dog.
I want a wiener dog really bad because they're so funny looking.
You should try to get one.
But Yeah, I'd have to move to get one. But mine's more of a general kind of what's in store for me over the next 3 months. Or, I don't really have like a set question for once.
Let me see. I see you being the life of the party and traveling, which sounds so generic. I feel like you want to go away, but you have responsibilities, Amanda, that you have to take care of?
Work, yeah. And I don't like going for long periods.
Yeah, I've sensed there's a fear, but I feel like you need a break because I feel like what I'm sensing is that your energy has been draining over time. And I think that's the reason why the feeling I'm getting from your higher energies, that's why you wanted like a dog. It's something that's carefree, that's going to take you out of your everyday, that's going to release you from the issues that you're dealing with. And what you should try to do is get away, even if you can't get away for 2 weeks, 4 days, 5 days, or, 4 days, something to break up the stress that you've been feeling. Because your laughter is real, but the laughs that you used to have, I'd say about a year or two ago, were louder. And you're a vivacious, funny person. And you need to get back to that. You need to get back to that because you were.
Should I get in my T-Rex costume, my blow-up T-Rex costume more often?
Indeed.
Actually, I kid you not. I saw the YouTube videos. I'm like, oh my God, I have to get back. That thing's fun.
Your laughter is a cure for many, and you need to get back to that laughter. And the one way to do it is to go to the places you wanted to go to. Nothing is going to fall apart if you're gone for several days. It may feel that way, but it really isn't. You need to get back to that.
It's just tough with my work because I have a palliative guy at work who very much relies on me, and then I have another client whose cancer has now spread, and I don't think he's actually going to last very long at all. So I don't really want to leave them because I'm their support worker. They rely on me, so it's really tough because it's like I fear if I leave and then something happens. But I do know I just had a break a couple weekends ago, but it was only for a couple days. But I really I really want to go back because there was lots of breeze there.
You should. So. Because, there's compassion burnout. You're of no use to anyone when you get to that phase. And yes, it's difficult when you have people relying on you, especially in the terminal state. But maybe because you have a good network of people, that maybe you can work out something similar to what you did before. You have a gift, and your gift is bringing joy to other people, and your laugh is just so energetic and charismatic. And you have to get back to the fun, vivacious, spontaneous you. Because this work, although you have magic with it, and I'm sure people tell you how talented you are at doing it, it will start to burn you out. And you need that. Everyone needs something in their life to bring them joy. Otherwise, they'll be so drained they can't bring the joy to others.
Well, T-Rex might bring joy to them.
Yeah.
Yes, T-Rex.
No, literally, I work in supported housing with mental health and addiction. So, it would be funny to run around the halls in the blow-up T-Rex costume, and they'd probably all go, "What the heck is she doing now?" But that would be the whole point, and probably give everybody a good laugh, innocent laugh. So maybe I'll bring them back to work with me on Tuesday.
I suggest a Facebook Live video so we can all partake of the joy.
Well, I would do that, but I can't videotape or photograph clients. So
Yeah, I understand.
If they come out to see, There's other videos though.
Yeah, for sure.
Trust me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Bye-bye.
I hope she goes on vacation. I'm going to send positive light her way, that she's able to get a break. She needs it.
For sure. She definitely needs to get out of there. You know, she's doing a lot of good, but she needs to do good for herself as well.
Yes.
So our good friend Kat is wondering if she could get a cold read, please.
A cold read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does she want to know? Does she have a question? Lonely. I get lonely. Lonely. Let me see. I get a sense of loneliness with Kat, that she's waiting for something to happen to her instead of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
She's just waiting for things to happen. She wants to do certain things, but she's either afraid to do them, or she's not capable of doing them. It could be things like a bucket list, or I just get a sense of loneliness.
Okay, and Sandra's asking.
Does she say anything?
She hasn't said anything yet, and Sandra's asking, Kat, are you still there? So hopefully she pops back up.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, anything else you come up with, go on with it. And
yeah, I mean, I like I said, I just it feels like she's waiting for things to happen for her.
Okay.
And I know that sounds very generic, but when you wait for stuff to happen to you and you don't actively try to do it, you got to ask yourself, why are you afraid? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of the inevitable? Are you afraid of failing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to fail. It's okay to be rejected. It's okay to be afraid. It's actually good to be afraid. It's good to be afraid when you want to try something new, because it invigorates you. You conquer a fear. You know you're able to do other things. It leads you into other things. I get the sense that she's like, she wants great things to happen to her, but she needs to do them on her own. She needs to start something on her own.
Yeah, kind of step out of the safe zone.
Outside of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I think her comfort zone is very boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Tricia. And I know if she had to drop off somewhere, she'll be back to listen. And I'll let her know that you did do her reading, because she'd really like to hear that.
Sure.
And next we have a caller from area code 425. Who are we speaking with?
Robin.
Hi, Robin. How's it going?
Good.
What's your
You
question?
have a question?
Yes.
Robin, before you ask your question, are you feeling a lot of hurt right now?
Yes.
You're in a lot of pain emotionally?
For me, around where do you get in?
Pardon me?
Where do you mean by for emotionally?
I feel like you're experiencing a lot of emotional pain. You're distraught.
Well, right now I'm so my mother Well, she was an occupational therapist for 30 plus years, and now she's teaching it. And then she was teaching it for 5 days, and then she got dropped down to 3 days.
Okay.
And
what's your question? What do you want to know?
And I just want to know how good will we be for financials. That's what I want to know.
Well, she got dropped down because I feel like her health is at risk.
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling. And you're in a lot of emotional pain.
I am.
That's what I'm sensing from your energy, that you're going through a lot of pain yourself. Not physical, emotional. Maybe both.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted from what I did to someone, but I probably shouldn't be, because they're okay with it.
You're conflicted with a lot of issues, not just only personal relationship issues, other issues as well.
Yeah.
And I think that you need to start seeking some healing for that, from what I'm sensing from the energy that's being told to me, because there's a lot of things going on in your life at the same time.
All right.
And financially, it may become more difficult. There needs to be healing that needs to be done.
All right.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into it because there's a lot of personal stuff that's going on with you. And I don't think it's fair to tell everyone that, but I feel like you have there's a lot of things going on in your life right now. And there's also stuff going on with your mom, but the issues that you have are more emotional than physical. And what I see is that you should try to seek healing for that.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Robin. Have a good evening.
You too.
And get to feeling better.
All right.
Okay, so our next question comes from Crow in the chat room. And he was asking, Tricia, I'm concerned the tools I was gifted may have sat on the shelf too long. Any redemption?
Tools you were gifted have sat on the shelf. It's never too late, Crow. With a name like Crow, it's never too late. Redemption, though, is different from tools. The tools you were gifted with, do you feel like you have psychic abilities, some kind of healing power? But I also see tools of things that you're talented in doing. So you asking two things in one question?
I think he's wondering, like, is it too late for him to, start working on those tools? Like, are they too rusty? Which I don't believe is
true.
No,
I don't think you're ever too rusty. I think that you've gotten in your own way of yourself. I told you I'm very blunt when I do this. And the redemption is based on you using those tools for things that aren't supposed to be used for them. He's asking me two questions in one. He's asking me actually three questions. The one question is, I think he has abilities that he knows he has, and he's used those abilities at times for things that you're not supposed to use them for. And redeeming yourself is taking responsibility for what you've done and releasing those things and only focusing on the positive. And then you will be redeemed. But there's other tools that he can use that he's good at, not from like a gift, whatever like what we're talking about, but in another area. And he can use those as well. He's asked me 3 questions at the same time. Yeah, he did. The redemption can be sought if you take responsibility for your actions, Crow. And you know what I mean by that. And then once you do take responsibility for your actions, you ask for the redemption, which is forgiveness to whatever you believe in. And then you release them and use those tools to help or to do whatever you feel is positive. You cannot use your tools, or you should not use your tools for negative in any way. Getting back at somebody, manipulation of any kind. Not to say that he's doing that, but I'm giving general examples.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for helping Crow out on that one. And then we also have Lily in the chat room, and she says, what kind of career should I pursue? Wouldn't know, going to move, paths changing.
What is her name again?
Her name is Lily, and her actual name is Mary.
Past changing. What career? I'm not going to say her life's mission because she's not going to believe it.
She might.
Well, some people don't know what their life's mission is. I think she wants to do a couple things at the same time. And she has to figure out what makes her the happiest. She doesn't want to waste her time either, because she feels like she's running out of time. I see it being more like technical. Like...
She said, say it.
Engineering. That's what I got, engineering, but she's probably laughing and going, why would you even say that? But I got that.
It's interesting. Could be exciting.
She wants to go for the less challenging thing instead of going for the long road thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if she goes for the long-term thing, not only will she be happier, but I see her being more successful at it.
Nice.
If it's not engineering, it's something in the technical area. But it has to do with more brain work than physical work, or.
And she did
those
exactly
things can be,
what you said she would. She's like, engineering with a couple question marks.
She's like, what is that? And I don't mean like, there's all types of engineering. There's chemical engineers, there are technical engineers, there's all types of engineers. But I see it on a higher level. I see her getting to master's degree, PhD, which I don't think she is in the mood to do. At least that's what I'm getting, that she wants to do something that she can go, okay, I'm done. I'm on my career now. It's great.
Yeah, she says, yeah.
Life's wonderful. And you're a smart person, so why would you not want to do that? Because life's been difficult. I get it, but if you really want to be a success, I see the success happening for her, but she has to put in the work. And the work she will start to enjoy after she gets herself involved in it. And I think that's the fear. It's like, oh, I have to do all this work. I don't want to do it. To get to there, to get to there. It's kind of like, well, I'm going to go all the way here just so I can get to a job to then get to there. And it looks like a very long path.
And she says, I do beading.
It's not the beading. I don't see the beading. Beading is nice and crafty. I see something more high level.
I think she can do it. I think it's just the process of her moving and everything. She's got to kind of get settled in and comfortable with maybe
Right, the road
job.
is too long.
Yeah.
Right, the road seems too far. Like,
yeah, maybe once
you
she
just
gets
told me to
settled.
go take. Right, it's either engineering or something in the technical world. Something to do with math.
My ex wants to go opal mining. All right. Well, hopefully
Her ex
that was.
wants to do what?
He wants to go opal mining. That sounds fun.
Then. Yeah, it does. There you go. Something to do with math. Something mathematical.
I understood there would be no math.
I don't think she likes math, but I think she's good at math.
Yeah. I didn't like it until I finally understood it in junior high school. I finally had a teacher that could explain it to me first time, and after that, I just loved it.
Yeah. So then why are you going to not explore that talent then?
Yeah.
It's more of a question to ask yourself, like, why wouldn't you pursue something that you know you're passionate about? Yeah, maybe beading is more exciting to you because it brings you, the joy, but I guess the question she needs to ask herself, is that something that she wants to do 10 years from now? And is that something that will sustain what she wants to pursue in life, which is live a really great life?
Yeah, and she says he's into gemstones and is buying a house where he wants us to move. And she also says was in high school. Maybe that's where they met. I'm not sure. But maybe become an engineer in lapidary.
Hey, that's possible.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helps. And yeah, I believe anything is possible. And possibly that is the answer there.
Yeah, she's very talented. She's very smart. She should go for as high as possible, even though the journey is long. She's with somebody who's supportive of her, and she's lucky for that, because a lot of people, sometimes journeys are too long and they get whatever. But she should feel comfortable to pursue what she knows will bring her long-term enjoyment and fulfillment. And I think she has enjoyment of what she's doing right now, but I don't know if she's completely fulfilled by it.
Nice. She said, yeah, thanks, and totally unexpected, but hopefully those were the words she needed to hear.
Yes.
And then we have a call in here from area code 780. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. I just had a question. It might kind of sound weird, but how can I, maybe normalize my mind so I'm a little bit more, emotional and, I can't really think of a good word for it, but maybe fragile? I don't know.
Craig,
to bring myself out of balance.
I think you think a lot. Like, I get that you're thinking all the time. You're just constantly thinking, like all the time. And you analyze a lot of things. Somebody said something to you, you're analyzing the way they said it, what they said, what was in it, what was happening with it. I get the sense that your childhood in school was difficult for you. And those experiences have shaped some of the things that you, over time and throughout your life, have caused you to be the way you are now. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Like everything throughout my life has built me to who I am today.
Right, but those situations were more profound than the average person. That's the sense I'm getting, and I sense that you can't shut your mind off. It's going on all the time. It's very hard for you to relax. I feel tense. I feel like a sense of tenseness about you. Lonely in a room filled with people.
Yeah, but I don't really get that. Like, I don't get lonely. That's the thing. I like being alone. my issue is like if I'm like trying to engage with somebody, like where I like their company and stuff like that, but like the emotional attachment just isn't there anymore, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't find that. Like I can't find anybody that can bring me out of balance anymore. Like, and make me vulnerable, you know?
Well, I don't think you I think what you've done is protect yourself from feeling that. When I mean lonely in a room of people, I don't mean that, how do I say this?
Like I'm not the same. I understand that. But like it's not like the feeling of emotional.
Right.
Loneliness.
So you're it's not like, oh my God, I'm so lonely right now. It's like I'm misunderstood. I can't get a connection. I see
and
you
just
in a
not
room
the
of
same
people.
anymore, you know?
Right. And I think it's a lot of stuff that you're going through with yourself. You're going through an emotional turmoil. And I think it's the overthinking, and I think it's something traumatic happened to you that has caused you to develop this way over time. And now it's manifesting itself, unlike it was before. And I don't even think I get the sense that it's not something that you even admit to.
Yeah, but that's the weird part, because I can be open with people. I can express how I feel to them. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I don't have that, like, that loss feeling. You know what I mean? Or fear or whatever it is. Like, that's supposed to, like, drive you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in a normal relationship, you're supposed to be able to, you almost have, like, a little bit of a need for that person, you know? Whereas, like, I can love people. I can accept them at any time. I can give them love, but, like, I just don't have that hold, you know? I don't know. It's just weird. Anyways, sorry. So
you just don't have the drive.
I'm just trying to describe it.
No, I know. I get it. But I like I said, what I sense from, and I can only say what I sense, is that you're constantly thinking, your mind doesn't stop, and something traumatic happened that has caused you to kind of put a shell around yourself, even though and that's preventing you from actually experiencing the need of people. You're present, but you're not really present. You're there, but you're not really taking
maybe
it.
Would spirit know a way for me to get in touch with whatever this is?
I don't see it being just an easy answer like, hey, spirit, what do I need to do? Do I just need to start meditating? I think it's many things that have happened to you over time, but I see one traumatic incident that has happened. It keeps coming back to me. And you're not, it's like you don't want to acknowledge that. Does that make sense?
Well, kind of, but not really, because like this kind of came to me from meditation. From like I did a lot of meditation, and then I just broke down my own thought processes. And then once they were broken down, I traced like all my emotional triggers back to like where they were caused from, just so like, and then I'm conscious of any time I'm emotionally triggered by something. And by working through those, right? And then all of a sudden I came to this point where it's just like, you know, it's a little bit too level, it's a little bit too bland. So, but yeah, okay, I will try to work on what you're saying though.
Yeah, I think you feel like you've accomplished everything, and what else is there if I know that what I have is what I felt. But I feel like I just get the sense that something is triggering you to. You did past life regression already?
Yeah, when I first like I had some issues not too long. Well, I guess last year, where it was some pretty big events, like really strange things that happened to me. In
Right,
a week,
that's
and
traumatic.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like it's because of like no, it wasn't even traumatic. It was like a really deep love experience that was just pouring out of me, and it lasted a few hours. But I don't want to get into that. But, but after that, right, accepting that spirituality, I had this fear because of it. So then when I went into regression, I went straight back into a life where I was murdered for going on a spiritual journey. And then that's kind of like, I think, where the fear was coming from. And then that went away.
Right, but it hasn't. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a traumatic incident. Traumatic incidents can be two extreme things. It can be something very negative, or it can be something so amazing that there is no way you'd be able to capture it in real life. So trauma doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It could be positive. It's an extreme feeling that impacts you the way that you react to things. And even if you feel you're shaking it, you haven't. And that's why what I'm feeling is that in order for you to start to feel again, that you have to release those two things that have happened. And I don't think you have yet. Hence why I said the trauma. I mean, watching yourself get murdered is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And with the person that was leading the past life regression, were they licensed? Were they certified, I mean?
No, I did it on my own.
Oh, you did it on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just set the intention and repeated it over and over, and then I went into a white light and let my mind clear after the intention.
Okay, what you should try, what I suggest that you do, and again, you know, everybody can, you can take this as a suggestion, is go to an energy healer to help you release the energy that you've kept. Because I think I said this to Tessa earlier in our call. You can have a past life regression that's so profound that you carry it on in this life. So it's trauma that's carried on, and maybe you weren't aware of it before. You experienced it, and now it's become a part of your current life. So you need to release it. You need to have your energy, cleared.
Well, thanks so much for that, Tricia. And I hope that was
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was amazing. Much love, guys.
Thank you.
Love and light, and thanks for calling in. All right, and if we do have time, we only have about a minute. Maybe we can start on Sandra's general reading.
Sure. Sandra. She wants a cold reading too. She live near a beach? I see like waves and ocean and beach, and her walking a lot on the beach, like over and over and over again, like repetition, kind of like replaying something that's happened to her over and over and over in a circle, like replaying experience of feeling over and over and over again in a loop. It's kind of like, I wish I could go back to that. I wish I could go back to that. I wish I could go back to that. And it's tormenting her. When I say torment, sometimes I use very extreme words. And torment sounds like, it's like, but like it's it's something that she can't shake. It's like continuous.
Sorry about that. Thanks so much for doing that reading for Sandra, and thanks so much for coming out tonight. It was really great having you, and really great listening to your experiences and your readings. Is there a website you'd like to share for everybody to contact you?
Sure, it's called thepositivemedium.com.
Okay, so you can contact Tricia Lugo through her website. And thank you again, Tricia, for coming out. It's been great having you. And thank you so much to everyone in Spaced Out Radio, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, Deep Talk Radio, and wherever else you may be listening in the universe tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening. It was my pleasure, literally and figuratively, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend on Spaced Out Radio's Spaced Out Saturdays and Psychic Sundays on spacedoutradio.com. And until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases out there. Don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little bit better. And together, my friends, we own the night. You guys have a wonderful week and the remainder of your evening, and I will see you guys back here next weekend. You guys have an epic week, and don't forget, lift each other up and do good works, and laugh a lot, because laughter is the best medicine. You guys have a good evening. We'll talk to you later.